How you going, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video on the HZ Premier. Now, this is the first day that I've got to spend a full day on the car, so I'm pretty excited to get a heap done. So as you would have seen from the previous two videos, we've found out that some poor panel repairs have been done on both the quarter panels. So I've decided that we're going to redo everything on both the quarter panels. So that involves removing all the primer, all the filler, and pretty much still cleaning it and putting it in a epoxy primer by Resto finish. Just to give you a quick little skim over what we're going to be using to remove all the paint and stuff. So pretty much we've got a Roloc here, so this is an air operated one obviously, and we've also got a heap of Roloc discs which I got from PTW. So this is it's a 45 piece set of Roloc discs and stripper wheels. So this costs $99. There'll be links in the description for this. Look, I've used these Roloc discs for many years and I love them, hence why I continue to buy them. So yeah, if you're interested and you're doing something very similar, then check out the links in the description for the PTW Roloc discs. So that's enough talking about the products. So let's have a quick little skim over the quarter panel. I did put a micron meter over the quarter panel, and that gave me a bit of an idea on the film and material thickness on the panel. So there's a few little things which I want to do in the shed to reduce the amount of dust blowing around. I will be using a respirator. I want to block the entrance to the house. I've opened up the door to the backyard just to get a little bit of airflow through the shed. It's going to get incredibly dusty, and I thought about using a paint stripper, but then I thought that's an incredibly messy job as well. And then you got to wait for it to do its thing and all the rest of it. So I thought, why not just rip the Roloc out? We're just going to whizzy it all off. It's 10 times faster. Yeah, it causes more dust, but gets the job done faster. And when I've only got, well, a full day on a weekend to work on it, I was a bit busy yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to work on the car. But yeah, let's jump straight into it, guys. That's enough talking. Alrighty, so here we've got the micron meter. It's a little bit dark, guys. Sorry about that. But basically you turn it on. Let me actually just adjust that for you. Sorry, probably should have thought about that before I started filming, but anyway. So here it is. So you basically put it on the panel nice and flat, and it tells you how many microns worth of paint is on it. So when it wants to work properly. So we've got 440 there. In regards to the air compressor, I know some of you guys may be a little bit interested in it. So I've got a Chicago Air Hush 100 from Sydney Tools. I bought it about 3 or 4 years ago. I've painted maybe 2 or 3 full resprays inside and out. Done all the panel repairs and stuff like that with Air Tools with it, and it holds up pretty good. It's called Hush because it's pretty quiet. So it's almost equivalent to like a vacuum cleaner in your house. It's got 3 motors on it. You can turn them on and off individually or have all 3 running. It's pretty good. Am I running a separate water trap and like filters and stuff? No, I'm not. I don't typically use one when I'm only filling up my tyres on my ute or just doing little things like blowing myself off, etc. So yeah. If I was painting a car, then yeah, I'd put my water trap on it, etc. But yeah, for what we're doing today, doesn't really need it. we managed to bare metal that whole quarter panel. It all looks pretty decent now. Just looking at it overall in general condition, I'm scratching my head as to why they use so much filler on it. As I was saying a little bit earlier, like if you've got a low spot in your filler, like don't just mix up more bog and fill that low spot. Just continue blocking until you're starting to sand through that filler in other areas around it, and then go and put a skim over it. Don't just keep loading product on and on and on and on. It looks like that's what it looked like on this. Just looking at the top of the quarter, looks pretty straight. Obviously, you don't find out how straight it is until you epoxy it and sand it. But just on the eye, it does look pretty straight, and I don't think it's going to need any, if very little, filler put up on top. But we're definitely going to need to put a skim from the middle body line up to here. And obviously I'll blend the filler and stuff into the pillar. Definitely has had heat shrinking done on it. You can tell by all the dots or the little burn marks. And it's also had a fair bit done down on this lower here as well. Now you can see the filler in areas like that, which is still left there. I will be removing all that. I'll just pulled the camera out to show you what I've done basically so far. We're not going to do the back panel. We're just going to like blend it out through there on that corner there. We will remove that filler because there isn't any epoxy there, but I can see epoxy a little bit further along. So apart from that, let's not talk too much about it, but I will say that it's definitely had a quarter panel put on it at some stage. If you're curious to know how I know that, well, there's a weld here and there's a weld there running up through there. So it's definitely had a quarter panel on it, 100%. So I guess we'll have a quick skim over the Resto Finish metal cleaner data sheet and the epoxy data sheet, find out what grit we need to finish that steel in, how to use the metal cleaner, etc. Excuse me, and yeah, we'll start getting it all prepped up, all ready, and we'll put it in epoxy. Alrighty guys, so here is the technical data sheet for the Resto Finish metal cleaner. Let's just skim over it so you guys learn a bit of information and I also learn as well, as I've never used it before. So Resto Finish metal cleaner is ready to use, no mixing or dilution is required. For best results, use before and after abrading the surface. Apply Resto Finish metal cleaner to a clean cloth and wipe areas to be cleaned, not allowing the surface to dry. With a second dry cloth, immediately wipe the area until dry to remove contaminants. Change or dispose of cloths as required. Sand or abrade the surface as required to remove all residues, trace of corrosion, existing coatings, ensure correct surface profile for future coatings. If surface rust is or may be present, use the Resto Finish Rust Go, which we have, and we've also got the data sheet there to read to learn how to use that. Repeat the cleaning procedure using the two cloth technique as above. The process may have to be repeated several times to remove stubborn contaminants or debris. Ensure surface is clean and dry before coating. So that's pretty much it, guys. Bare metal can begin to rust within hours. Yeah, I think we all know that. It doesn't say anything here about using gloves, but that's just a recommendation that I like to give to you guys. So in a nutshell, the oils on your fingers, if you were to touch the steel, then the oil on your finger will transfer onto the car and will cause surface rust. So when you're doing this process, guys, I'm surprised it didn't say it on the data sheet, honestly. But yeah, make sure you do wear gloves. It might be pretty obvious to a lot of people, but bloody air compressor. But yeah, to a lot of people that may be completely new and like green to this kind of stuff, yeah, very important that you wear gloves. So what we'll do, the only real clean cloths I've got is microfibers, so we will be using that. So we're going to apply the metal cleaner to the cloth, wipe on, and while it's still wet, we're going to wipe it off. We're going to continue that process. Now, in regards to another part of the data sheet, it did say if there's surface rust or contaminants to use the Rust Go, which we also have in this little box of goodies over here. So we've also got that there, the Resto. So I will skim over the data sheet very quickly on that. I don't want to bore you too much, but there was a little bit of surface rust down on this lower here. So we will use the Resto over that area, and to be honest, it probably won't hurt to do the whole quarter panel. At least we know that it's been rust treated, etc. Alrighty guys, I'm going to skim over the Resto technical data sheet in probably a little bit more simpler terms for everyone to understand. So the ratio for dilution, or the mixing ratio for the Resto, is a ratio of 1 to 10. So if you're unfamiliar with what that is, and you're probably scratching your head thinking, well, my mixing cup doesn't have that ratio on it, how do I mix it? Well, it's simply just add 100 ml of the Resto, then put 10 ml of water with it, and then just give it a quick stir with a stick. Apply with a saturated cloth, a spray bottle, or a brush. You could also use your red Scotch-Brite to apply it. Allow 5 minutes for the reaction. Then use that red Scotch-Brite while wet, right down in all those corners. If you've got any surface rust and things like that, really give it a really hard scuff. Apart from that, remove and neutralise by washing off with water, with clean wet cloths. Repeat the process with a damp cloth. Use a third clean one to dry it. Then use a air blower and blow the whole surface down. Make sure that you've got no water coming through your air line as well. That's a pretty important part too. Then use either methylated spirits or the Resto Finish polyprimer solvent on a clean rag to thoroughly remove any traces of water. Then for the final little clean, you can use the Resto Finish metal cleaner as per the technical data sheet. So all those tight little like crevices where like the weld is, we'll use red Scotch-Brite or the Scotch-Brite in there and really get in there and that. Alright, so we've got 5 minutes to twiddle our thumbs while we wait for it to do its thing. So we've got a nice wet coat over that. The time is 12:45, so we'll wait for 12:50. And yeah, we'll do the next step after that. Alrighty guys, so it's been 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is grab our Resto. There's a few areas down on this quarter which I wanted to scuff just to make me feel a bit better. So we'll give it a really good scuff down. All that we really got to do is go get our microfibers and basically wipe it on, wipe it off, then use an air blower. And that's pretty much it. So just want to try and keep away from that filler up there. We didn't really have any surface rust up here, but one main area that I wanted to really scuff into was in that weld. You really want a nice job on this, so. Alright guys, so we'll go get a wet cloth, wipe it off, dry it with a dry one, air blow it to dry it, then we'll use the, what was it, the metal cleaner over the top. Oh no, sorry, the solvent, the polyprimer solvent, we got to use that over it. Then we can go over it with the metal cleaner before we epoxy. There's our wet one, we'll get our dry one, wipe all this off. Should probably move all this out the way, eh? That'd be a good idea. Alright, I'm going to go rinse that out.
It might seem like a lot of work, guys, but if you want it done right, sometimes you got to spend the time and do it properly, you know. It's nothing worse than bloody people out there half-arsing jobs all the time, you know, because there's always someone like myself who has to bloody pick up all the pieces like what we're doing. Alrighty, we'll continue to wipe that off. I'm pretty happy with that. Then our dry one. There's the air blower. We'll completely dry it. Alright, there's the solvent. So we'll give that a wipe over it. So all that we're going to do is wipe on the metal cleaner and wipe off with a dry rag before we epoxy it. And that's it, guys. That's how you do the whole process. So really easy. If you enjoyed that, guys, be sure to leave me a comment and a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. We'll wipe the metal cleaner over it and yeah, we'll put it in epoxy, eh? Alright guys, so we've done that whole process. Now it's time for the metal cleaner. Just went and pinched my wife's tea towels. She's not going to be happy. So we'll wipe this on. I know the solvent's starting to dry on my rag, so we might just wet it back up again. Like that. And we'll go over it again, make sure it is nice and clean. And I'll probably do it a third time before I actually put epoxy on too. Just to like cover all bases. So that's it, guys. That's all ready for epoxy if you wanted. I know I'm not wearing gloves on my other hand. If you have a bit of a look, my hand's nowhere near the metal. Alright guys, just to give you a quick little look at the masking, which I've done. I'm not going to go into too much about it. Just done a soft edge up the top here, back mask here, hard mask down there, back mask on the corner, folded it back on top of the boot and taped it down. Just a little back mask there, hard mask down there, and a soft edge down on the lower quarter. Yeah, back mask down the door jamb. All we got to do is back mask around the wheel arch and we're pretty much done. So we'll shut this up and make sure our tape's all poking out like that. Then we'll get some more tape. Whoops. Get some more tape if I can mask properly, and we'll just stick that tape down to the door frame. All right, there you go guys, all masked up. Now let's mix up some epoxy. So we're about to mix up our epoxy for the quarter panel, and I thought I'd show you this brand new Slim X Lite from Walcom. Now what sets the Walcom guns aside from all the other guns out there is, first of all, the Italian made quality. So very similar to like your Ferraris. This is basically the Ferrari of spray guns. Let's open it up. So everything that you get inside the gun is basically a gun spanner. You get a 680cc pot. Inside the pot you get some in-pot filters, which we won't be using simply because we're spraying like thicker like material through this gun, so we won't use those. But gun lube, a cleaning brush and a rebuild kit. You get an analog air gauge that has like this little cover on it, so you don't get the gauge covered in overspray. and you can buy those separate if they get covered in paint, which is really good. You get the gun, obviously. So 1.9 HTE. If you're wondering what the HTE stands for, it stands for high transfer efficiency. So all that we're really going to do on this is put an air fitting, on it, and we're pretty much ready to start mixing up our epoxy. There'll be links down in the description if you want to check out more of the Walcom guns. Alrighty guys, time to mix up our epoxy. Again, wife is going to kill me for using her kitchen utensils. Oh, far out, it's going to be really funny. It's a good thing she doesn't watch my videos because, yeah, I think I'll be out in the doghouse for a couple of weeks, I think. It'll be funny when she actually goes to use it and she'll be like, where's my spoon gone? I'll be like, what spoon? I don't know what you're talking about. So obviously give your paint a stir, guys. There is a lot of solids in the paint. So we're going to give it a really good stir up. The ratio is 4:1 too, guys. You can reduce up to 15%. I think I might go around that, maybe 5, maybe 10%. I want to put less coats on, but still have a really good film build on there. There's nothing worse than sanding a epoxy and you sand it off really fast back down to bare metal. That's not ideal. You don't want to be sanding through epoxy. You want to be leaving epoxy on the surface the whole time. That way that it's basically like the bare steel is like protected. If you are sanding all your epoxy off, you defeat the whole purpose of putting the epoxy on there. Alright, so our primer's in the gun already, just waiting for the air compressor to fill up with air. We'll pour some metal cleaner on this. And we'll do its final wipe down before epoxy. Yeah, it's pretty thick. Alrighty guys, thought I'd just give you a look at the quarter panel after we put 3 coats of epoxy on. So you would have seen on that footage, I put a coat down, then realised how thick it was through the 1.9. So I reduced it to 15% and then put an extra couple of coats down. Obviously, the more reducer you put with it, the thinner it is, which means the thinner it is on the car. So I decided to put 3 coats on it and it all looks pretty nice. Now, if you're curious how long did it actually truly take me to do this? Well, I started at 10 o'clock. It's now 2:30. That's 4.5 hours. Is that right? 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 4.5 hours to do that quarter properly. Now, that's what really annoys me about some dodgy panel beaters, right? They thought they'd cut a corner to save them time. An extra 4 hours, an extra half a day, and they could have done it properly. I just don't understand some people's, like, their train of thought sometimes. I just don't get it. It's all done. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've all enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys on the next video. So if you're wondering what we're going to be going on with in the next one, well, we've got pretty much 2 doors and a guard to block. We've got the opposite side rear door to block, and we've also got the roof to block. Once they're all blocked down, and so we'll do that through the week. So we've got 5 days through the week, so 3, 4, 5 panels. So we'll do a video each day, blocking down each of the panels. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, we'll do the opposite like quarter panel, exactly what we've done on this side. I'll make a video about that as well. And then probably, depending on how I go for time, so I'll do the other quarter panel on Saturday, and then on Sunday, we might start tackling the filler repairs or the polyester application on this quarter panel. So if you're curious to know how straight it was in the end, well, there is quite a few dents on it, like small little dents. I could put a thin skim of filler over it. That is an option. Like you saw how much bog I took off the top of that quarter. Look how straight that is. Like, yeah, there's a little dent like right there. I just don't understand why they put a full skim over it. It was like 5 mil thick on top. I just don't understand some people's train of thought sometimes. But anyway, is what it is. We managed to do it all properly. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll leave the video there, guys. You have a really good week through the week. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Cheers.